Gukesh will
F4.
play knight e4. There's absolutely no choice. You need that knight on a good square.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
no.
okay.
Whoa.
Knight
Interesting.
D7.
Here we go. The world chess champion Gukesh D playing the Caro Khan with black, but it turns into a bit of a Caro Khan as he really does bring his D game against Levon Aronian in this opening game of the Sinkfield Cup Rapid and Blitz. How exciting is this? Gukesh D runs into Levon's exchange variation. He almost falls asleep, but fear not. It does get exciting. Clock times are on the left there. They get a bit of time added per move. And would you look at this? Pawn c3. Gukesh gets the knights out. Very principled. They can only short range hook right. They can't jab like bishops. But Levon gets his bishops out before the knights. Usually a no-no, but he is a grand high ninja black belt chess mariner of the seas. Therefore, he's allowed to break the rules. We now see bishop g4. Gukesh looking in every direction but at Levon, trying to get him to blunder, but he spots it. Now the pawn's under fire, and this just gets sharper than Gigakaru's razor blade, because the bishop's now attacked, saying, please take my pawn. This is how the line goes. It's absolute chaos on the board. Queen goes away, and these are two of the most principled responses for black if you go down this ninja grandmother theory. We did not see it. We're in analysis mode, because instead it just gets weirder and wackier with this little pawn push. No one's got a clue going on, what's going on. Least of all me, can't even get my words out, but we'll follow the game because the bishop drops back. You could have played knight a5, by the way, if check, bishop d7, blah, 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 blah. This was how we went. Now takes, and that means that Gukesh is a pawn down, but he chops here. He's won the famous bishop bear. He's the one now with those ones as long-term compensation for the pawn. And after this guy drops back, he's pressuring the center here. The pawn structure a bit compromised for white. Don't go f4. You run into this check. Ruin your king position. So in the game, the knight develops, defends the pawn. Queen c7, of course, pile on the pressure. And castles was played, saying please take. Now it's technically playable, but very risky. Your king's wandering around in the center. This is how the line proceeds when I'm running it. Dangerous pass pawn for white, king in the middle. Engines are happy to play it, but very risky from a human perspective. Therefore, pawn not touched here. Whoops, like that. Instead, we see the 0-0-0. Opposite sides castled here. Andrea just wallops on the beats. It's summertime. Everyone's having a boogie. Everyone's having a great time down in St. Louis. This is how the game proceeds as the pawn is now legit defended. But how about this? For a baseline, Gary the debt collector just doom down the door here. He wants to kill the king on g1, and it just gets better because Levon gets his bits out of the board. Now we see h5 renewing the threat, or making it happen for the first time even, of pushing this pawn, using this one as a hook. And so the knight now centralizes, and there is a lot going on here we got to unpack, because you've just left the protection of the pawn in the center. You're also threatening top with knight b5 here. g4 is a big threat. What to do, how to play. Now yes, you can take here. The knight comes in, you get some initiative. Queen drops back, pawn c4 is best. It's crazy, it's tactical, it's a different game. Fully understand why Gukesh is not going for this one. How wild does this look to defend? It's horrible. So we didn't see that one of actually taking the pawn. What should you play? g4 is best. Why? Because you take away this square from this knight. It's one of the big reasons, as well as of course continuing your attack. Sorry, been a long day, hard to speak, but in the game we get pawn to a6. Now of course it stops the knight jump, but now this knight can hit f3, enter the game. Now g4, but now knight g5. The character of the position completely changed. Gukesh not up on the subtleties here. He spawns the seahorse, hits some stuff, but more importantly, defends the bishop from that double attack. But Levon's not done, because after takes here, it looks like black is having all the fun, ripping open the white monarch. Are you going to recapture with a pawn or piece? Technically playable. But this is what Levon's got planned. He plays bishop to f5, just hitting this one on e6 with the bacon, lettuce and tomato. Very yummy. About to gobble up here, and it really is a triple beautiful brilliancies, because after shedding another pawn, the king getting big time exposed, we now see this little pawn push before you can say crazy Uncle Kramnik. And the idea is you're kicking away this defender of the e6 square. And it was important to do that first, or there were some lines, if you cashed in too soon, blah, 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 where the queen starts sneaking into an attack here. This is the way to go. If you retreat, you're dead as a dodo. So this is the best move. Counter attack on the knight. Now we saw f4, the third only move in a row to keep the advantage. And this is where Gukesh big time surprised Peter Svidler, 2700 plus player for years, 8-time Russian champion, seriously strong player. And he's like, look,
Gukesh will
F4.
play knight e4. There is absolutely no choice. You need that knight on a good square.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
no.
Whoa.
Knight
Interesting.
D7.
Okay, and he played it quickly too,
Yeah.
Peter.
I think
That
he
I
has
think
to
makes
speed
White's
up.
life slightly easier.
you play knight e4 here. It's just the move you play. This is the best response for White. White stands better, but this is a monstrous piece. If you take, you give up the bishop. It's the best way to generate your counterplay and stuff, even though White's better. But in the game, we get knight to d7. Now, why is this so much worse? Well, it's very passive. This is one of the reasons that Gukesh is struggling in rapid and blitz, not quite playing those kind of energetic, dynamic, attacking moves all the time. Bit too classical in his approach, and even though he's the world chess champion, he's getting dominated here by this octopus. The rook slides over, and bang, the dynamite explosive c4. This poor guy is getting absolutely cut to shreds. The Armenian lion's got the gazelle between his teeth here. He checks, the king dives, and now we get this great pawn push. Imagine takes, I presume a4, never actually explored the line. That's a good move. So's knight d4 apparently. The queen can check here. It's really nasty. So we didn't get takes. We got knight b6, looking for the exchange, but simply this. And the problem is, all endgames are great for White because look at the center of the board here. You've got two connected passed pawns runners. This rook now defends the knight. Takes was played. Now this knight enters e6, opens tension between the rooks. This bishop slides out. Takes, the rook jumps up, and this one can soon be captured at White's leisure. The knight centralizes here. King takes, rook c3, but it's pseudo activity really, because those connected passed pawns are just winning out the day here. Rook attacked, gets active, but after this guy's attacked, Gukesh now goes woefully wrong. If he takes, no good, the pawn's running too fast, have to start giving more material. So this was played, but it gets the double question marks of doom, because in response you can play knight to d4. You hit a rook here and double threat of going to Forktown over here, checking, winning this bishop. By the way, if you're seeing the cards on the right hand side, the whole chess with cards thing, hopefully it's updating, doesn't always do it, but you can literally get your hands on a set of those cards now if you want to. You can print them, you can get the little book version like what I've got here. Absolutely love it. Been using it with my son. He's like 6 years old. The link's down in the description. Really great training tool for yourself, for kids, for a son or a grandson or granddaughter, everything like that, right? very, very good tool. Really love it. Great visual to cement the principles that always get spoken about. Let's carry on with the game. Rook saves itself, or actually the knight does. You could have saved the rook, stayed with the knight, but anyway, this is coming, and it's what we soon see in the game. The king first ducks the check, double attack here. Rook takes, stays with the knight, hits this guy, but check. King goes, bishop drops, and the rook's overloaded. Can't take and defend at the same time. You have to shed a piece. Gukesh keeps the tricky knight. Very understandable. This sets up a discovery. King dives away. Now the knight re-centralizes here. Rook goes, pawn e6, and that little piggy is deciding the game ultimately. Here we see resigns. This knight's attacked. If you come here, let's say, to stop the pawn advancing, well, here's a sample line. What to do? You can either checkmate the king in some lines, or if it steps up, you win material. If it steps here, you jump in with the knights. What's one of the best moves? Okay, hit that. You can even checkmate like this if black really goes wrong. Now, I do want to say one thing just before you go, quickly show you this, because Gukesh did bounce back in round 2. This is his game against Grigory Oparin, long-time second of Fabiano Caruana, great player in his own right. And would you look at that, midget rook lift to win a knight, because there's a pin here if the knight goes here. Nasty. You could have snaked the queen out and defended, but Oparin didn't want it. He just gave the piece already. But I just want to show you this game because it ends in a beautiful checkmate. Gukesh gives back a bit of material just to end up with these wonderful bishops here. And this is how the game proceeds. Rook d8. Can you find the knockout blow for white here? Is queen takes on f6, and you get to deliver this tasty checkmate. Oparin lets Gukesh do it. What's this one called? Maybe Boden's mate or Boudelier's mate? I don't know. I think maybe Boden's, not sure. Great checkmate anyway. Really lovely. That was his round 2 game. Hope you enjoyed this one. Have a look at the video on screen in case you missed this absolutely classic Hans Niemann game, and I hope to see you again soon. Cheers.